And good evening, everyone, and welcome to Kelly Field. It is time for Greencastle Antrim football here on a Friday night. I am Greg Hoover, along with my good friend Rick Lewis, who joins me for the broadcast again this year. And just want to get things squared away here, ready to go. It's what looked like it's going to be a little rainy night. Well, actually, it's going to turn out to be a pretty nice night as it goes. It is Kelly Field, the Greencastle Antrim Athletic Complex. After suffering a setback to the upstart Chambersburg Trojans last Friday evening in a big way, the Blue Devils try to snap out of a losing streak as they entertained the Camp Hill Lions, losers last week to Lancaster Catholic by a 28-7 margin. Our pregame show is brought to you by Antrim Insurance, your local area insurance agent serving Greencastle, Waynesboro, Chambersburg, Mercersburg, and surrounding Pennsylvania and Maryland areas. Antrim Insurance, 169 South Antwerway, Greencastle, 1685 East Main Street in Waynesboro. Well, it wasn't pretty last week in the 48-13 beat down by Chambersburg, but when you turn the ball over 5 times, that leads directly to 34 points, and you lose by 34, well, there's a lot of should-have, could-haves to go around.
Absolutely, Greg. It's great to be back and have high school football ready to go. The first win's always the toughest one to get. And talking to Coach McCulley a little bit, I think they just need to regroup, clean up the turnovers, obviously, and give themselves a chance to win in the fourth quarter.
Well, you talk about turnovers, and a lot of times with turnovers, you blame yourself. But in that situation last week, I thought Chambersburg created the turnovers, and that's what you want your defense to do. And with that, I'm trying to get you situated here. You can't hear, huh? Okay, let's see. That's better. There we go.
There we go.
There, you can hear me now. Hey, you want to create the turnovers, and that's what Chambersburg did. They had 2 hard hits on the quarterback McDowell that popped the ball loose. They had 2 great interceptions to go along with that. So you made the mistakes, but they helped make the mistakes.
Well, and sometimes as coaches, you never really it's hard to sit back and credit the other team for making good plays. But that's exactly right. Sometimes that happens. And I think, it's all part of a learning process. So, you protect the ball a little bit, you look at that on film, and it's probably a combination of both. Chambersburg making a good play. And for us, and we've all been there on the sidelines, it gets to be what I call the snowball effect.
Right.
It starts going downhill, and unfortunately, when you have a team with not a lot of experience, they don't have a lot of things to draw on to get out of that. So it got out of hand. I think the biggest thing and what's most important is they just have to move on. They just have to move on and get ready to play tonight.
Well, when we come back, we will look at the positive aspects for the Blue Devils last week. And believe it or not, there were quite a few. And that happens when we return on the F&M Trust Sports Network on midpennbroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, WRGG, 93.7 FM, and WRGG.org. Welcome back to Kelly Field. And if you look across the way, a comparison to last week when the stands were filled and the fence line was filled, not many traveling down from Camp Hill to make this trip. I'm not really sure why they have abandoned them so early on, or maybe they just didn't know how far Greencastle was. I'm going to go with that one.
Well, being from that area, I can tell you they didn't know where
They
Greencastle.
didn't know Greencastle. It's been a while since we have played Camp Hill. And you know all too well, after suffering a tough loss like the Blue Devils did last week, you have to come back and look for the positives. And I think the Blue Devils had a few things that were positive.
Well, they really did. And the biggest positive that jumped out, I think, is the play of quarterback Max McDowell.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't played quarterback in the last couple of years. He played on the freshman team as a freshman. They moved him to different positions, to get him on the field because Cade McDowell, his brother, was the quarterback.
Right.
And he was a good athlete, so you want to get him on the field. Threw for over 220 yards. Also was probably the most effective runner that we had as well. So I think that was a real positive. I saw a lot of nice catches. Nick Barnes, Antoine Carter, Ethan Murr. There was, a lot of receivers. I think, when I talked to Coach McCauley real quick, I said, offensively, what do you think? And he said, I think if we just hold on to the ball. I think overall we all agree that Greencastle moved the ball pretty well.
They did.
And I think that's probably the biggest positive that I saw.
And some of the drives where they fumbled the ball, they were moving for,
Yep.
been a 7-point game. Instead, they fumble it, they go down and score. It's a 21-point game. That can demoralize you in a hurry. So hold on to the ball. He said that before the ball game. If we hold on to the ball, don't make mistakes, and play good defense, well, everybody says that. You're going to win some games. They didn't hold on to the ball, and that they gave up the big plays, too. Well, I tell you what, we're going to see what we can expect from Camp Hill Lions. Good question, and one we may not fully be able to answer, but we'll do that. We'll try when we return on the F&M Sports Trust Sports Network on midpenbroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, WRGG 93.7 FM, and WRGG.org. Welcome back to Greencastle. It is the Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils and the Camp Hill Lions going at it here tonight in game number 2 of the season. And we're approximately a very short order away. Yeah, they don't believe in the 7 o'clock start. They believe in the 6:57
and when
start.
you run it as tight as you do.
I know. We don't have time for this stuff. We don't have time for them to start early, but that's what they're going to do. And so with that, we'd like
foul
to
up the whole commercial process you just talked to me about and everything.
That's right. We're going to have to skip over one. But we will tell you that the pregame show has been brought to you by Antrim Insurance, your local area insurance agent serving Greencastle, Waynesboro, Chambersburg, Mercersburg, and surrounding Pennsylvania and Maryland areas. Antrim Insurance, 169 South Antrim Way, Greencastle, 1685 East Main Street in Waynesboro. So Greencastle won the toss. They have elected to receive to start the ball game. They'll be defending the East goal. They'll move from the right to the left, wearing the home blue tops with the yellow jersey, white bottoms, and then it is the throwback Nittany Lion uniforms, Rick, all white.
I feel like I'm up in Happy Valley right now.
All white uniforms with a blue stripe down the white helmet, and the only thing that's missing is I don't see their head coach wearing black shoes over there. That might be a kickoff underway, and here it goes. Swib kick going to the left. It is handled and then dropped on quickly by Joshua Leon on the right side of the field, about the 23-yard line, and the Blue Devils will take over the ball right there at their own 23. What do we know about Camp Hill?
Well, there's good athletes out there. There's not a lot of them. It's a very small school. It's an A school. They have about 31 kids on their roster, if I just did my math correctly. So they're going to have 9th through 12th graders out there. They're not going to be overpowering physically, but they should be very athletic.
Now let's see what the Blue Devils can do in the very first offensive set. They will put McDowell up under center, 2 in the backfield and 2 in the slots. They're going to give it to the big guy, Hebert, right off the bat. And he's not going to get much. Very little yardage on the very first play. So I will say this, Camp Hill has scouted them well.
A.J. Brantley is senior, and I said they're not going to be overly physical. He's 6'1", 290. That's a pretty good size up front there. Camp Hill last week, as we didn't get really a chance to get into some big plays. They also stumbled, as you mentioned, but they're going to be a quality opponent. I think Greencastle's going to have to play. I think I'm going to look for Greencastle to throw the ball here early.
Well, they threw a lot last time. Let's see what they do here. Jet sweep coming our way, and they're going to give the handoff to Ethan Murr. Murr can't get around the outside, and he is chased out of bounds at about the 24-yard lines, and that'll only be a gain of 1 yard. So in 2 plays, they have gone just 1 yard.
So 2 runs to get started, and that's probably been the biggest concern is running the football. Coach McCauley's looking for who can be that guy that he can count on to get that 4 or 5 yards every time he hands the ball.
McDowell threw 26 times last week, 14 of 26, 2 interceptions, 223, and he had 2 TDs in that. In motion goes the one slot back to the far side, and now McDowell just looking to throw. Straight back in the pocket, heavy pressure, starts to run, and he gets brought down over the 25 at the 26. And the stop there is made by Tommy Zerby, a junior, 6'4", 255 pounds.
Not to start the Blue Devils we're hoping for.
No.
Didn't get it going, but hopefully we'll get a good punt here and get it going on defense. Adam Root, another bright spot, a sophomore. 81 will do the punting. He had a touchdown reception last week.
Only 1 punt last week. Unfortunately, when you turn the ball over 5 times, it doesn't give you an opportunity to punt the ball. So let's see what they do. He'll stand at his 14-yard line. Good snap, and gets the punt off. It's going to take a Greencastle roll at the 40, straight up in the air, and they're going to let it go. Greencastle's going to let it roll, and it's going to go dead at the 32-yard line. So Camp Hill will trot out their offense for their very first look at them. Rick, one of their best athletes, Dylan Lamprey, is on the injured reserve list. He hasn't played yet this year. He's going to be out. I checked a couple more weeks. He is a great story. At 2 years old, he was in a lawnmower accident where he lost his leg and some fingers on his hands, but he's still their best athlete, still their quickest guy.
Read that in Penn Live. Yes, amazing article.
Story, yeah. I'm disappointed because I really wanted to see the young man in action. And also, when you play somebody, you want to see their best.
Sure.
And so it's disappointing that he can't get to play, but we wish him well. I hope that he gets back into strength here and able to play in the near future.
The matchup to look for is number 20 here towards us. Trumpy, he's a 6'5 junior wide receiver with Antoine Carter, probably our best defensive back, going to be shadowing him from what I understand all evening.
First handoff goes to Frank Shartle. Frank Shartle's a 5'9 junior. He ran for a -3 last week, only 1 carry, and so far today, 0. Nice stop by the Blue Devils.
It's turned into a beautiful evening too, which is good. You're worried with the heat the way it's been. Really affects cramping up and things like that, but it's settling into a really nice evening here. The field as always looks great.
82 degrees at game time. Vern McCauley called it at 83, I believe, so he hits it on the dot this time. They'll run a look from the shotgun, looking to throw, and they do, up in the air, and a great defensive play by Antoine Carter, the 6'1 senior who just came across and knocked the ball down. Threw that up there a little bit for anybody to get to, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was a well-designed play, kind of but Antoine Carter, like we talked about, has been a 3-year starter at defensive back. He's a very good athlete. He's going to be guarding Connor Trumpy all over the field. From what I understand, they're going to give him safety help over top. But Antoine will, hopefully can rise to the occasion. And great kid. I think he can do it.
Greg Labine, the quarterback, a 6-foot junior, 175-pounder, threw 7 for 16 last week for 127 yards, 1 TD, 1 interception. He'll work from the pistol with a sidecar to his right, and he looks to pass straight back in the pocket, throws it up again, and this time he has the receiver open, but he can't hold on to it as Trumpy can't catch the ball, and it was a good defense again by the Blue Devils.
Yep, number 81, Adam Root, came over, broke it up. Again, maybe a little bit too much air under the pass, but let Adam Root, who's got really good speed, close on it and make a good play. And good for the Blue Devils here with 3 and out. So hopefully they can get a good return here and get the ball on the Camp Hill side.
Ben Brody will come in to punt. He will stand at his own 23-yard line. And the punt is off. Nice high punt. Going to go to the right side and taken in the air by the Blue Devils, number 9. And to the right side and brought up to the 50-yard line. It's a good return by Ethan Hildebrand. And the Blue Devils have pretty good field position right at the midfield stripe to start their second possession.
So what's so important now, Greg, is they got settled in. They made some good plays. And for their own confidence, every possession where Camp Hill doesn't do something positive and Greencastle can is just going to help the Blue Devils, because after last week by now it was already 7-0, kind of a little shell-shocked. They can settle in and play their game.
Greencastle will come out, run the wing T, 2 slots on both sides of the ball, wide receiver on both sides of the field. Hebert is the man in the backfield. In motion comes the 1 slot. They'll give it to Hebert. Straight up the middle. He goes for the fullback, and he'll pick up about 3 yards on the play. Well, last week they didn't get a chance to use Hebert a whole lot. That was going to be their bread and butter. He ran 16 times, carried 5 times for 16 yards, but they got into the situation where they just couldn't go for the 3 or 4 yards. They needed to go for big yardage.
Right, and Chambersburg was a little more stout up front, just physicality-wise. It's hard to run up between the tackles when you're just outsized like that. But Hebert's they expect big things from him this year.
From the right slot, jet sweep coming our way. This is Murr again. Murr cuts it up this time fumbles the ball, but Greencastle will recover, and it will be a pickup of maybe a yard on that one.
Yep,
Hebert jumped on that one.
Very fortunate there. That would have been a bad turnover. Ethan Murr tried to turn the corner. Looks like someone for the Lions got their hand in there, and but Hebert alertly jumped on it.
Well, fortunately, that one did not cause a turnover. 3rd down and 7 now, as Greencastle will switch the sides of the field. They'll work from the left hash now, going right to left on your radio dial. 2 receivers, actually 3. They'll put 1 trips to the right and 1 to the left. Lone setback is Mayu. Mayu with the ball. Nice little jet move through the middle. Cuts out to the left, gets over the 40, gets down to the 35, and a first down.
5'9", 160-pound sophomore they're very high on. Nice run there. He did a really good job last week on kickoff returns, and they're going to look to continue. They're trying to find that running back, and I think he's making a run for that position.
Well, they go between the power back with Hebert and the speed back with Mayu. Now this time they'll just put Hebert in the fullback position. He's the lone setback in this alignment. They'll run the jet sweep to the other side as they give the ball this time to Hildebrand. He'll get his first carry. He goes 10 yards or more, but there is a flag on the other side of the field, on the far side.
Preliminary indication holding.
It's going to be holding against the Blue Devils. First penalty of the game for either team. Blue Devils only committed 2 penalties last week for 5 yards each. Pretty amazing. Only 2 motion penalties in the opening game when you consider you skipped a week of practice. So that was pretty good. Here's a major one, and that's their first major penalty. Unfortunately, that's going to negate that big run.
Well, that's exactly, there's penalties and then there's penalties.
Right.
And that unfortunately took a very positive 14-yard gain for a first down away. So, but you're right. Actually, both teams last week I thought played a very clean game because not only that, how early school is, there's not near as many two-a-days as there used to be.
Another fumble, but this time, once again, Ethan Murr bopped it up in the air, was able to pull it down. He doesn't lose the fumble, but he loses a lot of yards, way back to the 45-yard line, considering, Rick, they had the ball inside the 30 after that run from Hildebrand.
And that was more on the exchange. I don't think Ethan Murr ever got the ball clean for McDowell, and they're, again, very fortunate.
Nice breeze blowing across the field from north to south. Flag is waving down in the west end. They're going to hand off now to Mayu. Mayu gets hit right away, and he cannot go too far as big A.J. Brantley, the 6'1", 290-pound senior, brings him down.
And he looks like he's going to cause some trouble in there. That's about 3 times we've called his name on those inside runs. He's a big boy, and he moves pretty quickly.
And he's going off for a break now. Done my job.
That's exactly right.
I'm out of here.
It's on you guys from here on out.
I get one a game. I'm good. They're going to split 2 receivers to the right side for the Blue Devils, 1 to the near side here. They'll put a slot to the left, so 2 receivers on both sides. And McDowell looking to pass, has some room on the right side, throws and underthrows his intended receiver. And that was going to be for Carter. It will fall incomplete. McDowell 0 for 2, as well as Camp Hill throwing tonight, and that will bring up a 4th down situation for the Blue Devils, and they will bring out the punting unit once again. At least they got a first down on that one. 3 and out the first possession, 3 and out for Camp Hill first possession. That time, they got to run 6 plays, and they got a first down. Clock at 6:13. We're just about halfway through quarter number 1. This is Root again.
Good
Snap
chance
is
to
here.
pin him deep here, Greg.
Gets a good punt off, and it's going to go to the corner. If it can just stay, it goes out of bounds. So it's going to be out of the 20 or out in the end zone.
And there's going to be a flag on Camp Hill.
Oh, okay.
A little pushing and shoving going on, and the referee threw the flag right away. They're going to kind of clean that up immediately.
Now, was that after the punt?
Yes.
Okay.
It was after the punt. Now I'm calling it on Camp Hill, but let's see.
Personal foul against the Blue Devils.
Personal foul call against the Blue Devils.
So
I apologize. That wasn't too much of a homer call, was it?
Well, for you, yeah. Or did they call a double foul? No, they're marching it off against the Blue Devils, but not many. Oh, well, yeah, it was many. In fact, ball should have been spotted at the 20. It's now at the 35, so a 15-yard penalty.
Well, in fairness to the Camp Hill kid, I must have saw the second push,
Yes.
and the referee saw the first one.
Second possession for the Lions. They'll put 2 receivers on both sides of the field. They'll have 1 lone setback as they work from the pistol. Snap is there, handoff into the belly, and the run comes up the middle from Ben Mullen. Mullen, the sophomore, gets up close to the 40-yard line, stopped at about the 39.
Ethan Klopper did a real nice job there coming from the defensive tackle position, drug him down from behind.
So a 2nd down and 5, or a long 5, that's for sure. Blue Devils on the road for the first time next week. They'll travel to a brand-new opponent, Hanover Nighthawks. I guess they still play at Shepherd Field in downtown Hanover. Snap is back, looking to throw a little out pass here, and they complete it, but not for a lot of yardage. Massey is the receptant of that pass, and he will take it to about, let's say the 42, pick up 43, about 4 yards on the play.
Tyler Twane, number 15, a junior linebacker, made a real nice tackle there because there was some room to run if Twane wasn't able to trip him up, but he came over and brought him down.
3rd and 2 now. So the Blue Devils facing, if they can make the stop here, they'll force Camp Hill to punt as they are still in their own territory. They're going to run 3 in the backfield, 1 up short, 1 between the quarterback, or in front of the quarterback, 1 back. Handoff, and a first down is gathered as Shardle goes over the right side and picks up the needed yardage +2 to the 47-yard line.
That's probably the most traditional play the Lions have run right off. That's kind of a untraditional formation, but a dive right up the middle, and they got good penetration.
Yeah, they call that the
good push. I mean,
I'm not sure the correct title, the H-back, who doesn't necessarily play in the slot, but he comes behind the lineman over the left guard a little bit more. Now they'll go to a spread offense, 2 left, 2 right, as they work from the center of the field. They'll bring 1 in motion, the jet sweep. Quarterback will keep it, and Lamine trying to get some yardage out of it, but gets very little. Up to the midfield stripe for a pickup of 3.
And from what I understand, and talking to some friends of mine up in Harrisburg, Labine's a very good athlete. He's a dual threat quarterback. So there's someone really good. Greencastle's going to have to keep their eye on when he pulls it down. It's not out of desperation. He's looking to make yards.
They'll run with a tailback and a halfback to the side. The sweep coming to the tailback, Shardle. Shardle started out to the right side, and then he is leveled down there by Thomas Hebert and thrown for a loss on the play, as a matter of fact.
Made on the play by Thomas Hebert.
Hebert just crunched him. Actually, they're going to put it at the line of scrimmage, 50-yard line.
LaRondis Green also got in there, and unfortunately, we don't have LaRond.
We look for a 72.
Yeah, for us.
No, you're right. That's not there. So here's a 3rd down and
nice play
7.
by LaRondis Green, number 72.
From the shotgun, rolling to the right, looking to throw. Now he stops, reverses field under heavy pressure, gets a good 2 blocks, and now he's going around the left side and has some running room. Picks up the 1st down, still on his feet, and finally brought down by Rood down over the left sideline inside the 40 at the 38. One of those plays, Rick, where you thought you had him back here, and he made, as you just said, he's a dual threat.
Yeah, well, he ran for 25 yards there, and he ran about 80 to get there.
Yeah.
But, some fantastic blocks by the Campbell. A lot of times on those you see a lot of clips getting hit. They didn't. They got on the right side. Coach McCauley's kind of questioning, and one of the coaches said it was 2 of them that they could have called. But I think the referees were correct on that. I think the Lions had their head around on the right side there, and 2 very big blocks that led to a big turn of events.
Brings up their 2nd first down of the series. They'll run that same formation with the H-back up close and then a tailback behind the quarterback. The tailback will get it. That is Shardle. Shardle is stopped right away at the line of scrimmage. Gang tackled. Pickup of 1 yard is what they'll mark him as.
Led by 14, Thomas Hebert.
Hebert in on the stop. You hear his name a lot defensively and offensively. 2:45 remaining here in the opening quarter. No score on the board as both teams have struggled offensively. This is the biggest drive of the contest so far. Started at the Camp Hill 35, and they have moved close to the Greencastle 35. They're 2 yards shy of that. They'll work from the pistol with the shotgun or the sidecar to the right. And Lamine takes the snap, fakes the throw, rolls out, now under heavy pressure again, escapes the heavy pressure. One more time he gets by, and then finally knocked out of bounds at the 40-yard line for a loss. So Lamine trying to make something out of nothing, couldn't really do it.
Colin Horan's not going to get credit for the tackle. Tyler Twane did a great job making the tackle, but Colin Horan came in there and really disrupted that whole play.
Give credit to the defense. There was no one open on that one.
Exactly.
As he had no one to throw to. So 3rd and 11 for Camp Hill. Lamine coming into they run a more traditional huddle, break it, not like Chambersburg did with the no huddle. They will send trips to the left and twins to the right. The backfield is empty except for the quarterback, Lamine. He stands about 4 yards off the mark, and he looks to pass in this one. Straight drop back, throws across the middle, and almost intercepted, almost caught, and then a flag is thrown, and that's going to be an interference flag against the Blue Devils, I'm afraid.
I think you're right. I'm not sure I saw it, but I think that is going to be the call. Now they're going to look at the ball was tipped and when it was tipped.
Yeah, I think that they're going to have to. I think they need to take that one away because the ball was tipped, and it becomes anybody's ball at that point in time.
If that's what the call was, and I think that's what they're kind of discussing.
Referee has everybody around him. Yeah, I thought.
Was it tipped before the pass interference call? The flag came a little late. The ball was tipped.
Yep. Very good. So the wave off the flag.
Now Camp Hill's, they're going to bring out their punt because both these teams have kind of been in that no man's land, way too far for a field goal, but inside the other team's 40. And I think both coaches are probably looking at this going, points are going to be very valuable, and field position is a very important part of this ball game tonight.
I think so, too. So, punting teams coming in. Blue Devils will have 2 back. Hildebrand deep back. He's going to call for the fair
Oh,
check,
no.
fumbles the ball, and then jumps on it at the 8-yard line. So technically, the third fumble, but none recovered by the other team. And that does pin the Blue Devils deep back.
Yeah, and I think, both teams struggled a little bit offensively last week as well. So it does seem like both coaches kind of have that mindset that we're going to play a field possession game because we think our defense can hold you down there. So the Blue Devils would be nice to put together a little drive, keep their defense off the field for a little bit. And a quick moving, we're under 2 minutes here in the first quarter.
Yeah, there's been some passes, but actually, there's been 6 passes so far. Most of it's been on the ground. Blue Devils come out in that wing tee, wide out to the far side, and the near side, they'll bring in motion the slot to the near side to the far side, and they give the handoff right up the middle. And
Ryan Marconi, 27 with the carry.
Marconi had 3 carries last week for 15 yards. He gets his first one here. He's a 5'8 senior. And so that is a pickup of about 3 yards, 2nd and 7 now. Now the Blue Devils just need one of those big plays from somebody here, just to get them out of the
field position game.
They're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Camp Hill has that right now.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a little play action, maybe go over top to Antoine Carter up there at the top.
In motion goes Mayu, broken play,
and that didn't.
Yeah, and coming out with the ball is the quarterback McDowell. McDowell gets up over the 15 to about the 17-yard line. He made something out of nothing on that one because he looked the handoff and there was nobody there.
And there's about 3 guys pointing at each other back in the huddle. Very fortunate for the Blue Devils. Brings up at least a manageable 3rd down.
Looked like Mayu, who started to do the jet sweep, then realized maybe I should go behind the quarterback. And it was. And then when he went to look to toss it to somebody, nobody was there.
Only a sophomore. He'll learn.
Yep. Root to the near side of the field. Long count from McDowell. Straight back in the pocket, looking to throw over the middle, and he overthrows his intended receiver, Mayu. Had him for a moment. Mayu came out streaking. No one on him for a brief moment, but it falls incomplete. McDowell 0 for 3 on the night so far. And that, once again, will bring out the punting unit for the Blue Devils. So they have 3 and out in the first series. It was 6 and out in the second series, and now 3 and out here in series number 3.
One of my favorite nights, Greg. You know that we got some little girl cheerleaders out there. They're adorable.
Yeah.
And it's Gampha night here at the field, something that the Blue Devils, there's going to be too many men on the field for the Lions, and their coach caught it and called a timeout.
Yep, he saw them coming out and couldn't get it stopped, and Greencastle couldn't snap the ball soon enough.
Yep.
So.
And number 6 for Camp Hill is now explaining to his coaches why he was still out there.
Yeah, I wonder. No one told me to come out,
exactly
Coach.
Right.
39.1 seconds left here in the opening quarter. No score up on the board. This one has just been a defensive struggle. Neither offense can get anything going, as it seems in this one so far tonight. Well, last week, Big Spring took Biglerville by a 46-20 count, and Redland lost to Waynesboro 28-10. It was West Perry, Blank, and Juniata 49-0. Shippensburg a win over Dover for the second year in a row, 35-28. Northern beating East Pennsboro by 6, 20-14, and State College taking care of Mifflin County 35-12 is the results from last week. No really big surprises there. I think some people thought Waynesboro would have a tougher time than they did.
Mifflin County, from what I understand, is going to be a kind of the dark horse of the Colonial Division.
Well, I always thought that. Nice bounce out to 50, back to the 45, taken by Shartle. Shartle gets hit, but he stays on his feet, still on his feet, then finally brought down inside Blue Devil territory at the 48-yard line.
I tell you what, though, that was a good punt by Adam Root, the sophomore. He punted from his own end zone. It was a very nice return, but at least it got it out to at least midfield.
It did, and that's where Camp Hill will have their possession. This will be number 4 for them. They've created 3 first downs, and they lead the first down war 3-1.
I think you said it earlier, Greg. You're just looking at this point now, I think, for someone to make a play.
Right.
You just really, and that might sound silly, but somebody just has to make a play, whether it be offense or defense, just so the whole team can kind of take a breath and get, and feel good about things. They just need something to really feel good about.
Labine at quarterback. He is in the pistol formation. He's going to give it to the fullback. Fullback gets hit right away as he crosses the line. That is Xavier Ritchie, the 5'6" senior, 150 pounder. He was 2 carries, 3 yards last week. And That's might do it for the quarter. They got 10 seconds left. We'll have to wait and see if they will get this taken care of or not. Nope, I think that's going to do it. We shall return on the F&M Trust Sports Network on midpennbroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, and on WRGG at 93.7 on the web at WRGG.org. Well, if you had the opportunity to see that, first play of the second quarter, Camp Hill, the quarterback LeBine had nowhere to run, got crunched in the backfield for about a 5-yard loss on that one. Great play from the Blue Devils defense.
Brings up a 3rd and 15, Greg. Big third down here.
It is. If the Blue Devils can get a stop here. LeBine in the shotgun. Fakes right. Now rolls out. Looked like he's trying to set up a screen. Now he's under heavy pressure
again. A hold down here.
And there's the pass. It's almost intercepted in and out of the hands of Root, who.
And I think he had nothing but in front of him either.
He did, yeah.
That could have been the play we were talking about. Just that make a play. And but I think it's coming. It's going to be
another penalty, a holding penalty against them.
I wonder if they'll decline that. Yep, they're going to decline that. Bring up a 4th and 15 or 4th and 15.
15, yes.
But that's a play when you're kind of scraping along offensively. If you can get your defense to create some offense for you, that would have been huge.
So 4th down situation facing Camp Hill. They'll bring in the punt unit once again, and that will be Ben Brody to do the chores for Camp Hill. Blue Devils will send Hildebrand down deep, and they'll send Root at about 20 yards in front of him, so they have like a double layer. And the snap is there. The punt is high to the right. Going to hit and bounce. Picked up by Hildebrand at the 20. Comes up the middle and is crunched by 3 white jerseys at the 29-yard line.
Well, the battle of field position continues. Camp Hill flipped the field. We'll see if Greencastle can get something going offensively. You know, and I know it's stating the obvious here. How many 3 and outs have we had, Greg?
1, 2. Wow. James Buchanan leading 6-0, or James Buchanan leading Big Spring 6-0.
That's huge.
That's huge. So we'll see what goes from there.
For the Rockets.
Yeah. Blue Devils now will. They've had. Answer your question. 1, 2, 3 and outs. There's a pass and completed to Murr here at the 35, and he takes it up over the 40 for a first down and the first completion for McDowell. And that's a big one, and the Blue Devils pick up a first down on the very first play of the second quarter.
Real big play there. Ethan Murr with a nice catch, but Max McDowell led him. He didn't have to even break stride. He had his momentum going, and that worked out very well. And again, now here we go. Greencastle's flipping the field. That's, I think in this game, that's going to be really big.
Seems to be. McDowell up under center. He has Hebert in the fullback position. They'll send Murr in motion on the jet sweep. He'll go around the left side, cuts up the middle, a nice little cut, picks up 3 or 4 yards on that carry. Goes to the 49, maybe the 48, depending on the spot, but a nice little pickup for the Blue Devils on that one.
Little momentum going here. Ethan Murr doing a great job on this drive. and hopefully they can keep it going.
Had 5 carries last week for 6 yards, averaged 1.2, so he's above that right now. Blue Devils have fumbled the ball 3 times in this ball game, but they got him back all 3 times. Last week, it would have been just the opposite. Wing T formation for the Blue Devils. Under center, McDowell looking to throw. Firing timing pattern down here to Carter and overthrows his intended receiver by about 5 yards.
Pass intended for Antoine Carter falls incomplete.
So, good call on the second down.
Quarter, we'd like to welcome the Gamma Junior Varsity Cheerleaders.
We'll check the schedule out, what's going on throughout the area here in football. Blue Devils send Rhodes to the near side, or the far side, excuse me. And they will have Barnes here on the near side. Looking for Barnes on a little button hook. Makes a nice catch and is tackled right away, but he's got the first down. So Nicholas did the right thing. You got to run to where the stick is. Did the button hook there, made the catch, and a first down for the Blue Devils.
Did a real nice job there. And the Blue Devils are putting together a nice little drive here.
Started at their own 29, and now they're at the 45 inside of Camp Hill territory. It'll be Root and Carter to the left side. Shealy in the slot, and the handoff goes to Hebert, and did not fool anyone. He gets nowhere on that one, to the center of the field.
This drive so far has ate up about 3 minutes, and which is important because their defense was on the field quite a bit in that first quarter.
Yeah, that's a great point. They did get to play way too much.
Shippensburg 7, West York 0.
7-0 Shippensburg in the quarter over West York. Blue Devils, same formation. Bring the slot in motion. They give it to Murr on the jet sweep. He cuts up, and it gets about 3 or 4 yards on that one. It's been the same MO on that one. Murr goes, ever since his first one, Rick, where he tried to go around the outside, couldn't get anywhere. Now he's cutting up and making the play that he needs to make.
Well, sometimes in this game, you just got to put your foot in the ground and get what you can. You know, not every play is going to go for 30 yards. So good running backs, and he's doing a good job now, like you said, just kind of putting that foot in the ground, making 3 or 4 yards, even when it's not there.
McDowell up under center. Puts Murr in motion. But McDowell rolls to the near side, keeps the football, goes up over the 40, down.
Good effort, got the first down.
Great effort. The spot will be at the 45-yard line, and that's where they're going to give it to him. That was really close.
Yep, no, that was all effort on Max McDowell there. Just wouldn't be denied. Got hit about 3 yards short and just bulled his way for the rest of it. Big first down.
I think bull is the proper term.
Looking for the huddle.
Yeah.
It spun around.
Where'd he go?
Yeah.
So the Blue Devils, as you mentioned, this is the drive they've been looking for. 7 plays, that's the most they have run in any drive so far this ball game. Again, in motion, goes the slot to the left side, trips to the left end in this formation, and McDowell going to roll that way and comes out, and whoa, he just overthrew his intended receiver, Jackson Shealy, coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, just lost that one. That fastball got away from him.
It did. Soared a little high. 2nd and 10.
Just a bit outside, as they say.
Just a little bit, as Bob Uger would say.
That's exactly right.
7:31 to go in the opening half. No score up on the board of this one. 0-0. Greencastle and Camp Hill playing a pretty decent football game right now.
This just has the feel of a play here or there could just be everything. A mistake, something like that.
Right.
You just have to guard against making that big mistake.
McDowell, quick pitch out here to Carter. Carter gets the catch, and then he goes up to the 30-yard line. Not a big gain, 4 yards per se, but they'll take it.
The 17, Antoine Carter.
8 passes for McDowell now. He's completed 3 of those.
And now you probably get a good read on it's 3rd and 6, and they're at the 31-yard line. So I would think if this is a run, they're going to go for it on 4th down. They're looking for 2 plays. If it's a pass, I would think they maybe try a field goal or to pin them deep.
Well, we'll see. Mayu in the backfield. McDowell looking to pass. Has some time. Throws out here for his intended receiver, which was Hebert. There is a flag in the backfield. Holding against the Blue Devils.
Well, this will be interesting. What do they do here? They're sending Adam Root, but he's also a wide receiver. But if you're Camp Hill, do you have it go to 4th and give them another player, move them back?
They're going to decline it. They're going to decline it. So it will bring up a 4th down situation.
That penalty is declined.
Now, Blue Devils have a chance to pin them deep as the punt will take place approximately at maybe from the 40.
Well, there comes the offense back in.
Oh, is it? Okay.
And that's what I would have been worried about if I was the Camp Hill coach. He's got his punting team out there now. I don't know how much they substitute.
Right.
But the Blue Devils are going to go for – they were kind of in that no man's land here.
See what they can do with Mayu in the backfield right beside McDowell in the slot. Someone jumped.
Camp Hill jump, number 16.
Oh, my goodness.
That's not going to be enough to get you the first, but it definitely changes your options here.
It does. It takes it up to, and that's their first penalty. The other one was declined. Well, no. Yeah, the other one was declined.
I don't know what Ethan Murr, the kicker, I don't know what his range is.
No. We didn't get a chance to see that last against Chambersburg. Carter to the right, Murr to the right, and Root to the left. Everybody else in up tight, including McDowell. I mean, everybody.
This smells like a sneak, and that's about a 6-yard sneak.
Sneak it is on 4th down, and McDowell gets the first down for the Blue Devils.
And was that an interesting turn of events?
Yes, it was. I mean, Camp Hill had everything. They had the penalty, they had the punt team on, and gutsy call for the Blue Devils.
Great call. I mean, obviously they're always great when they work.
Yeah.
But you know, they need to they need to keep this going. I think for a lot of reasons. And great job by the Blue Devils.
Trips to the left, one to the right, hand off to Mayu. Mayu going to try to get around the corner, breaks one tackle. Someone gets a hold of his jersey, slows him down. But Mayu with a great run to about the 17-yard line. 12th play of the drive, Rick, that started at their own 29-yard line.
Yeah, this has probably been their best drive of the season so far. When they scored last week, it was kind of quick, some big plays.
Right.
This has been pretty methodical. They've made the big plays on 3rd down when they've had to a couple times, and real solid drive. You know, they need to end with points, though. They need to end with points.
That they do. In motion, jet sweep coming this side. This is going to be Hildebrand, and
just couldn't quite. He's going to get the first down.
Yeah.
But he just couldn't quite turn the corner for a real big one.
Came around the side, and like you said, he does get the first down. And the ball will be spotted at the 11-yard line. 1st and 10 from the 11. Blue Devils taking a lot of time off the clock. It's now at 5:40. This has been Camp Hill had 3 plays in the second quarter. Blue Devils have taken all the rest. This is play number 14.
Yeah, it's been about a 6.5 minute drive.
From the gun. And Mayu going to go left side, has a little running room up to the 5, down to the 3-yard line before he is stopped. So Tony Mayu with a nice run, as you said, Rick, the sophomore that they have high hopes for.
They do. They think he's going to be a good one for them. You know, only a sophomore. They're going to kind of work him in slow. You know, football's a very, very physical game, and there's a big difference between a 15, 16-year-old and an 18-year-old. So, but I think he's going to help them quite a bit.
Hebert in the H-back position, and McDowell in the shotgun, and McDowell's going to take it, led by Hebert.
Touchdown.
And touchdown Blue Devils as he goes over from the 3. Now they're going to spot it from the 1.5-yard touchdown. We'll say a 2-yard touchdown run just to give him credit.
Yep, and that's huge. You can just see the whole sideline and everybody just take a big, deep breath. Blue Devils playing with their first lead of the season, but just an excellent, excellent drive there. We talked about over 7 minutes and 16 plays or something like that?
15 plays, 71 yards, and a whole bunch of time. Murr will try the extra point, 1 for 2. One hit the side crossbar, or the sidebar on the right side last week. This one, line drive shot.
Nope.
Did not go.
No, missed
went to the right.
Yep.
And so the Blue Devils, however, still have the 6-0 lead in this one right here on the F&M Trust Sports Network. And we are going to do this. This update is brought to you by F&M Trust. If your banking relationship feels too distant lately, switch to F&M Trust. F&M Trust is local. And make sure banking is done your way every day. Learn more at F&M Trust. online.com, member FDIC. Well, that drive just what the doctor ordered. It was one where the Blue Devils started at their own 29. Good combination of run and pass. And with that, McDowell getting the touchdown from about 2 yards out. And that will be the first running touchdown for the Blue Devils. If I'm correct on that, I think.
Yes, both were passes last week.
Yes. Camp Hill Lions coming into the ball game 0-1. They were 4-6 last year, 2-5 in their division. They played in the Capital Division of Mid-Penn. It's a good league. It's a really good league. Yes.
There's no bad leagues in Mid-Penn.
No, you're absolutely right. And then there's one very, very good league, the Commonwealth. Murr, line drive shot, going to be taken on the run down at the 15-yard line, coming up to the 30-yard line, and finally stopped by gang tackled at the 32-yard line. And that is Baita, Grant Baisa, a 5'8" sophomore.
The other big thing, Greg, about that kind of possession for the Blue Devils, as we said, Camp Hill only has 31 kids on their team. The more you grind them out, that's going to pay big dividends, as Greencastle used a lot of different kids to carry that ball or catch the ball in that possession. So, that could play a factor come the fourth quarter.
Though it changes during the game, but they were scheduled to only have 4 kids go, both offense and defense for the Blue Devils. That's huge.
Yep.
Where Camp Hill is playing probably 20 of 22. Hand off to the fullback, Shardle. Shardle comes up over the 35 to the 36-yard line, and their very first play from scrimmage here.
Chambersburg up 14-13 early.
All right. I thought this was a winnable game for the Trojans against Southwestern. They'll run out of that gun formation with a runner to the right side of the quarterback, Labine. Labine takes the snap and the 3-step drop back, quickly releases to the corner, almost intercepted by the Blue Devil. Great hands by Rhodes on the other side there. Rhodes knocked it down and almost picked it up. Clock at 4:09 here in the opening half. Blue Devils leading this one 6-0. And a 3rd and 6 situation facing the Camp Hill Lions. Blue Devils love to do nothing here but get another stop and force another punt. Trips will come to the left side of the field. That's the near side of the field and the wide side. And 2 receivers to the right side. They do have, 1 receiver and a tight end. And rolling our way to the near side and throwing, and there's a pass interference.
So. Yeah, 54 Trey Wood pushed 44.
Yeah,
I'm not sure it was really for him, but
yeah, Hildebrand is not the one. He thought he had the penalty, but I don't think it was his.
No, I don't believe so at all. I think it was on the linebacker.
Push called. Yeah, I saw that too. Now, the Blue Devils have been hampered a little bit by penalties in this ball game. They had 2 for 25 coming into this one, and this one will be. This is not a spot foul as it is in the NFL. It is just a straight 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. So it does take it into Blue Devil territory to the 49-yard line.
And to me, that's the craziest rule in the history of NFL football. You can have a 70-yard penalty.
Yeah, you can.
I mean, that's.
Yeah, but at the other side of that is, wouldn't you just cause pass interference every time you thought they were going to make a catch for a touchdown? Yeah.
That's the argument that at that level they're good enough to think of that and do it, but I don't know. That always struck me as kind of crazy. You got a new quarterback in.
Oh, nice defensive play again on the intended receiver. Root came over and knocked it away from Trumpy. Well, they did this last week, Rick.
Daniel Schuster, a sophomore, came in.
Schuster threw for 6 passes last week, for 3 for 6 for 40 yards. And they also had Shardle throw 2 times from the fullback position. So they had 3 different people throw the ball last week.
It's not a stat you see every day.
No.
Trumpy, we've done a great job on him. Antoine Carter has really locked him down so far. I don't believe he has a catch.
Schuster's a 5'11", sophomore, 165-pounder. They're going to work the jet sweep, and they're going to give it to Shardle. Shardle around the right side, cuts up. Ooh, he gets hit hard by Hebert.
He's still going.
Yeah, he hit him hard, but he couldn't bring him down right away. The ball will be spotted at the 45-yard line in
Now,
Greencastle
his
territory.
helmet popped off, Greg. Is it like the college rule
Yes,
in high
it
school?
is.
He's got to come off? Yep.
He does. Yeah, he's got to come out for one play. That's a universal and a wise.
Yes.
One, technically, they're supposed to look at him because did he get hit with the helmet off?
Now, this is not a good sign for the Blue Devils. Thomas Hebert's coming off holding his shoulder.
Third down, Lions.
No, it's not. Third down for the Lions. It is Schuster at quarterback. Straight back in the pocket, looking to pass. Dancing back there, now comes out, has plenty of time, and fires and completes the pass to his wideout, which is number 43, and that is Eli DeArmont, a sophomore, 5'10", 160 pound, and they get a first down out of it.
Yeah, this really has been an odd drive. They really haven't done anything. That play was a nice play, but it's kind of been a slow motion drive, and now all of a sudden they're knocking on the door.
Well, they only had they've only run 5 plays, but they were aided by a 15-yard penalty.
That's a good point.
2:51 to go in the quarter, plenty of time, 2 timeouts remaining for Camp Hill. Quarterback stands at the 30-yard line. Schuster looking to throw. He's to have way too much time. Now he's coming out of the pocket and throws and completes to the big guy Trumpy, and Trumpy is knocked out of bounds, but not before he gets to the 11-yard line. Well, you see why they made the move to Schuster, I guess. He has been very effective in this contest so far. He's thrown 3 times, 2 for 3. So Camp Hill now down at the 11-yard line. They trail by 6 in this one with 2:27 to go in the half. So Schuster will stand at his own 16-yard line. Delay to his right. Trip receivers to the right side of the field. Single Trumpy isolated here on the left. And they're going to give it to Delay. Delay up the middle and down to the 5-yard line as Delay came out of the backfield on that one. Clock under 2 minutes now. And hurry up offense on the part.
Hebert back in.
So Hebert just hurt there for a little bit. They're going to give it now to the running back. The running back hit at the line of scrimmage, but he's going to be, he doesn't get in. Wow, at the half-yard line, and they drove him back. So now it's 3rd down and very, very short yardage. Actually, if that's the spot, it should be a first down and be 3rd and goal. It is. Or is it? Nope, 3rd down. They're going to work from the hurry-up offense again. Now this time, looking to throw, heavy traffic, throws into the ground. Great play by the quarterback, Schuster, but also a great play defensively. I get a number there.
I think that's Trey Wood, number 54, was
yes, it is.
Chasing him down there, but it was a smart play by the quarterback. Now this is interesting, 4th and 1.
Well, no, they changed it now, Rick, the second.
Oh, okay, they did not change it up on the board, though.
No, but they did over on the 6th.
Okay.
Now Vern is calling 4th and 1,
right.
But it is 2nd and 1.
It's 2nd and 1, you're right. The referee is vehemently pointing 2 to everybody.
Yep. From the shotgun.
And I wonder if they're going to correct this just to make sure.
Yeah, they want to make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, because that's obviously enormous.
Yes, it is. Well, when they came out, he's checking with him to make sure. It is 2nd down. So 2nd down and 1. They're verifying with all the officials.
And that's good officiating. Just make sure.
Right. They'll put Delay right beside Schuster to his left. And they'll fake it, let Schuster run it in, and he does. He's got the touchdown on the run. Schuster from a yard out, 1 yard run, and just as quickly as the Blue Devils scored, Camp Hill comes back and answers.
Yeah, tough break there. And hopefully that extra point doesn't come back to hurt us.
No, you're right.
Greg.
I know. You're having a little all choked up over that touchdown. It's okay, Rick, really is. So 3 minutes and 31 seconds on the drive.
I'm out of practice here with this.
That's what it is. With Ben Brody to kick the extra point. Snap is down. The kick is up, and it is good.
Slow motion.
It took like an hour and a half to get over there. And so the kick is good. So suddenly it is 7-6 here with a minute 20 seconds to go in the quarter, and Camp Hill march 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 plays, and they did it in 57 yards was the drive. to get back into this ball game and take a 1-point lead. Amazing.
Well, it's a good thing we get catering up here at halftime so I can get this frog out of my throat with what's going to get brought up to us.
Well, I'm hoping you have connections that I don't. This update brought to you by F&M Trust. If your banking relationship feels too distant lately, switch to F&M Trust. F&M Trust is a local community bank, and make sure banking is done your way every day. Learn more at fnmtrustonline.com or visit the F&M Trust location nearest you. Member FDIC. Well, the Blue Devils will get one more shot at it, see if they can get some points on the board. You know what I haven't seen in a long, long time, Rick? A really, really, really good run back on a kickoff.
Just saying. For one.
Just saying.
A good time for one. You know, and well, it'd be interesting to see. Well, I guess it'll all depend on field position, how aggressive the Blue Devils are here. But you're right. A good. Most teams, though, what we have seen in our league and the high school level, don't really give the guy much chance. It's a line drive. If it's not a true squib kick, it's a line drive kick.
This one's going to be up in the air.
Yeah, this is a shot.
Hildebrand at his 15-yard line. Straight up the middle he goes.
There you go.
And there he goes. He's at the 40. One man to beat.
He's gone.
Gone all the way to the 40, to the 30, to the 20.
No flags.
Touchdown. Blue Devils on the kickoff return.
Good
Thank
call,
you very
Greg.
much.
What else do you want?
I tell you what. From the 15-yard line.
Huge answer.
Yes.
And I guess that's why most teams kick those line drives.
I guess so.
Ethan Hildebrand's one of the faster players on the team, a senior, and he showed it there. Once he got in the open field, he was gone.
Well, you could see the only man he had as he came up through the middle of the field, great blocking, by the way, in the Blue Devils, was the kicker. And the kicker's like, oh, man, am I going to have to do this?
From a standing position,
yes. And that's what it is, too, a standing position.
A lot of emotion on that Blue Devil sideline right now. Great to see.
Well, Blue Devils call a timeout now because they're going to probably go for two in this situation.
I would think.
You want to get it back to the point where it is an even score, as we sort of say. Blue Devils, that I cannot tell you, and you know I've been covering the games for a long time. I can't tell you last time Blue Devils ran a kickoff back or a punt back for a touchdown. But it couldn't come at a more opportune time for the Blue Devils here. It's the Camp Hill Lions now are stunned on that one.
Yeah, a huge answer. A huge answer.
So see what play they call here for the Blue Devils. They're going to come out again, you know, after the timeout. And they had 3 timeouts with a minute 14. It's a good way to talk this over and make sure they get it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, nope. Makes sense.
Tony Mayu, he'll sit to the left of the quarterback, McDowell. McDowell will be from the shotgun position. They'll have a wide out far to the left and
Camp
2 to the right.
Timeout now.
They're going to look it over.
Yeah. I think they're on the same page you are. They're like, this is actually a pretty big play.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, kind of silly to say, but it's only 2 points. But it makes a difference of what Camp Hill, if they would score again, what they would have to do. It has a pretty major impact on the strategy moving forward.
This just in, the concession stand on the visitor.
Well, here we go. James Buchanan in Big Spring tonight. Camp Hill's at Greencastle, we know of. Waynesboro is at Red Lion. And it is York Tech playing West Perry. Shippensburg at West York. Middletown at Northern York. And Hollidaysburg at Mifflin County. So they're the lineups for the night coming out of the Colonial Division.
You'll get there.
I know. I only have one more to go.
That's it.
Keystone. Well, same offensive alignment. They're not going to change things up for the Blue Devils. They have 2 receivers to the right. Slot far right is Murr and McDowell. Uh-oh, there is a penalty.
Yep.
I'm not sure what that's going to be. Was that did they jump?
Camp Hill.
Yeah, they must have jumped, so half the distance to the goal line. So now do you call a different play? Because you know the last time they put McDowell up on the line and did the sneak, it worked.
Worked for about 7 yards.
Yeah. And they're not going to need 7 yards.
Here comes Medina back in.
Yeah.
Here come the big boys.
Here comes the power backfield.
So you're going to have Hebert and Medina right behind McDowell. And I think you're just going to see a big old push in the middle there.
Yeah.
Probably right behind number 79, Reed. He's our biggest lineman.
McDowell from the gun. He's the lone back. Well, Hebert's there too, but they're going to follow Hebert.
Yep.
And into the end zone they go. They get the 2-point conversion.
And he's all the way up to the elementary school.
Yeah, he just kept on running. They had plenty of room. So the Blue Devils even out the score, and they lead here with 1 minute and 14 seconds to go. 14-7 on this one. And let's see what Camp Hill can do with their answer here. They still have one timeout remaining. And I would think that, Rick, as you mentioned earlier, it would depend on what their field position as they get this one to come through.
All coaches say it all the time, and it's so hard to get people to understand. We have a pass interference call that basically makes up a big part of that touchdown drive that they had. And offsides on Camp Hill just changed it and made it pretty easy for us to get 2 points conversion. Those little errors are just huge.
Right.
And they don't just, it's not just that play, what it leads to the following play, and it's really important, when you're in a game like this where it's back and forth and tight and probably looks like it's going to be that way all game, those little things become magnified.
Chelop is deep for Camp Hill, as well as Grant Baiza, and Murr will do the kicking chores here from his 40. Line drive shot in the air, fumbled, and
he's down.
Knee went
his
down.
Knee was down, yep.
And they blow it dead. The official saw that right away as he went down, picked it up, and
sometimes I have to help them, Greg.
I know. It's okay to do that. So the ball will be spotted at the 19-yard line on the kickoff, and Camp Hill will roll out here with the offensive with 1:09 to go. One timeout.
Yeah, with one timeout and a minute left on the road, I wouldn't expect anything too tricky here.
No, but that's when you least expect it sometimes.
Well, and you got a 6'5" receiver. Could they maybe at least run, and then throw something up to him?
Yeah.
So they're back. Now, who's a quarterback? They have both. This could be interesting. Is it a trick play?
Both quarterbacks in.
Yeah, both are in.
Schuster is
the quarterback. Levine's set up in the slot there.
Well, here it goes, doing just as you said. They're throwing it up in the air and intercepted.
Well, now it's interesting. They're at the 50-yard line roughly.
Yes.
Greencastle could have time to answer.
That interception.
I'm a little surprised they took the shot then.
Yes.
First, but I would have thought they would have done it a little more, maybe conservatively, at least run it once and set it up. But they went for it all right away.
Anton Carter in on the interception. Now the ball at the 49 for the Blue Devils. No, you're right. What do you do? Let's see. Blue Devils.
I think you got how many timeouts they have?
They got 2 left.
They got 2 left. You can use the whole field still.
And back to pass, McDowell going isolation down here.
Or just throw it deep and get a long one.
To Roach.
Touchdown!
Roach still on his feet, and he's in for a touchdown. He got by one tackler, isolated out on the left side. McDowell, perfect pass.
Yep.
Roach with a great catch, and the Blue Devils have struck again.
Looks like the genie got out of the bottle for the Blue Devils here as Adam Root not only makes a very nice catch, breaks a tackle, another sophomore that they're very high on, 6'3" athlete, and that's probably the best way to describe him. And, players make plays, and that was a big one.
That was a big one. So the Blue Devils, they've run one play and scored twice. Bring in Murr back in here to do the kicking chores in the center of the field. I saw movement on Greencastle's part.
Oh, hit the pole again.
Hit the pole to the right side, but motion was called before the penalty or before the kick. So it'll be 5 yards marched back.
Dead ball foul, legal procedure to call against the Blue Devils.
Now the Blue Devils have now committed their 4th penalty. They only had 2 last week, and actually they had 1 decline, so it would have been 5. So now the kick will come from the 15-yard line, which makes it, in effect, a 25-yard extra point attempt. So he gets another chance at it after hitting it off the right pole. There, he moved again, I thought. That one tipped, and that one's blocked, doesn't go. Yep. So the extra point blocked. But nevertheless, Blue Devils have gone up 20-7 here at the 52.3-second mark of the ball game, and it has been a wild. Let me see if I can get this right here.
More action in the last 3 minutes.
Yeah. Well, Greencastle took the opening, let me get this right. I'll get it. Camp Hill ran 2 plays and a punt in the second quarter. Blue Devils took it over, went the distance in. Let me see here. 15 plays, 71 yards at the 4:57 mark. Then Camp Hill came back and countered with a touchdown. Then a kickoff return by Hildebrand that went for the whole distance, 85-yarders. Then Blue Devils intercepted the very next play, and then after that, a 49-yard pass from McDowell to Root, and now the Blue Devils back in business just like that. 20-7. I would think Camp Hill, once they see what happens here, as the ball goes back to the 12-yard line, they're going to bring it to the right and up to the middle. He's going to be stopped at about the 27-yard line. 27, that's where it'll be. Camp Hill will take over.
I can't imagine now that they're going to do anything.
Nope, I'm going to tell you. I can't think they'll run anything at this point in time. Stay tuned. It is the Antrim Insurance halftime show coming up. We'll look back over the first half, tell you what we think's going to happen in the second half, and update you on what scores we can from throughout the area. That's all coming up moments away. Camp Hill with 1 timeout remaining. And they're going to send trip receivers to the left, and Trumpy will be isolated on the right side against Carter again. Schuster, the quarterback of record. I say that because sometimes they bring both their quarterbacks in, and they're just going to give a handoff straight up the middle, and that one's not going to go very far. It's going to be down. The ball popped up, but that was Ben Mullen, and the ball popped out, but it was a dead ball, so they're not going to get the fumble, and Greencastle would have recovered. 30 seconds to go here in the quarter. And we'll see if Camp Hill, they'll have to get 1 off, if nothing else. Or do they? Schuster talking to the official as if, do we have to do this or not?
And he's going, nah, let's go get it.
Okay, take the
Get
break.
some French
Yep,
fries.
that is going to be the end of the half. The Greencastle Blue Devils turning things on, full speed ahead in the second quarter. They've opened up a 20-7 lead as we go into the half here on the Evan M. Trust Sports Network, MidPennBroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, and WRGG 93.7 Greencastle. Here we go. We'll be back with the halftime show right after these messages.
season the success that it was.
And welcome back to Greencastle Antrim's Athletic Complex. I'm Greg Hoover along with Rick Lewis. It is halftime here for the Blue Devils, and they have put together, well, the last 5 minutes have been somewhat entertaining, to say the least, Rick.
Well, you called it. I think, tomorrow when you read the article by Ben DeStefan, I really hope they mention that Greg Hoover wanted a kickoff return, and he got it. Ethan Hildebrand, the senior, what are we going to call that, about an 85-yard?
It was an 85-yard. He took it right at the 15, yep.
So that was huge. And what was so big about that, Greg, they answered Camp Hill's score. You always wonder, how do you respond to a little bit of adversity, and they answered right away. Then kind of a little surprising call by the Camp Hill coach. He went deep right away. Intercepted by Antoine Carter, and what we talked about, just making plays. Now, the big difference there is if Antoine Carter just knocks it down.
Right.
And those are little things, but he held on to it. The ball's reversed. Next thing you know, Cade McDowell hits Adam Root for a bomb. So you saw some plays being made. And the last couple of years for Greencastle football, talking to both coaches, those little things like that. Do you make the interception, or you just knock it down?
Right, correct.
And just those things haven't fallen into place. It's great to see it happening, and you see the reward of it.
Right, very simply, it turned into a touchdown. Turnovers turning into touchdowns. What hurt Chambersburg or Greencastle last week against Chambersburg, that's what's hurt Camp Hill here. You think about it, you can live with a kickoff return to a certain, you're only down 7, but then that turnover, and they get the points right off of it. It is what took place. The Blue Devils using some big plays to turn this one around. 20-7 is what we have here. The Blue Devils up on top. We'll look at the stats when we come back on the F&M Trust Sports Network on midpennbroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, and on WRGG at 93.7, and on the web at WRGG.org. Welcome back. It is halftime here at Cayley Field. Beautiful Cayley Field. Perfect night for football. A little breeze coming on. The heat took a little back seat to when the rain came through, so it's been a very pleasant night for football to watch. A very pleasant night so far in the first half if you're Greencastle watching this. I want to remind you that your halftime show brought to you by Antrim Insurance, your local area insurance agent serving Greencastle, Waynesboro, Chambersburg, Mercersburg, and surrounding Pennsylvania and Maryland areas. Antrim Insurance, 169 South Antrim Way, Greencastle, and 1685 East Main Street in Waynesboro. Well, Rick, it started out like the best defensive struggle in the world. Greencastle 3 and out, Camp Hill 3 and out. Greencastle got a first down on a third down play. Then they ran a 3 and out after that and punted away. Camp Hill did get 3 first downs in the next series, but they still had to punt away on that one. And then Blue Devils still had a punt away. And then Camp Hill came back the last series of the first half, and they punted away. Then after that, it became the best offensive game in the world.
Well, and we were also, let me throw this word at you, we were very fortuitous. We had, you like that?
Yeah, I do.
We had 3 turnovers, as you said, but the big difference is they weren't turnovers, sorry, there were 3 fumbles,
yeah.
But we recovered.
Right.
And, while Coach McCauley's not going to like the fumbles, period, the biggest thing is we recovered.
The other team did not get the football at that point in time. You're absolutely right. In the first series of the second quarter, the Blue Devils took the ball from their own 29-yard line, and they went 15 plays and 71 yards. McDowell took it over from 2 yards out. They missed the the extra point, but at the 4:57 mark, and again, that was the first series of the play, so they took over 6 minutes off the clock on that one, and they scored and made it 6-0. Very next play, it was Camp Hill coming back, and Schuster from 1 yard out. They went 9 plays, 57 yards, and it was 7-6. And minute 26 to go in the quarter. Suddenly, it's 7-6. Camp Hill has the edge, and then someone called for a kickoff return, and lo and behold, it was Hildebrand taking the ball at the 15-yard line, straight up the middle, turned on the Jets. No one touched him after he got through the crowd, and he scored. And they went for 2. They got it, and it was 14-7. And then the very next play, Camp Hill tried to throw an isolation pass to their 6'6" wideout, Trumpy, but Carter came down with the interception, and then on the very next play from the 49-yard line, McDowell hooked up with Root for a 49-yard touchdown play. The extra point was blocked, and that's how it remained 20-7. That's how it is. Passing-wise, Greencastle 4 of 9 on the night. Camp Hill using 2 quarterbacks. They're 3 for 11 with 1 interception. Greencastle, as you mentioned, fumbled 3 times, but they did not lose the ball. They have committed 4 penalties for 45 yards. Camp Hill 2 penalties for 6.5. So that's how it looks so far. A good second quarter of football. Now the secret is to maintain the momentum.
And Greg, it just hit me. Camp Hill does not have a band.
No, they don't.
So it is awful quiet here.
Yes. Greencastle performed the pregame show, and so there is no band at this point in time. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the F&M Trust Sports Network on midpennbroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, and on WRGG at 93.7 on the web at WRGG.org. And, of course, when you're that size, you can bump into people.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Then they're going to go for 2 here again, and I think this is a very wise decision.
Wesley, 5'10", 235 pounds. McDowell, is that who it is?
Yep.
Straight
kind
up
of went
the
with that same play there. Why change it? They haven't been able to stop it.
Is good. That makes the score Greencastle Antrim 28, Camp Hill 7.
Well, the Blue Devils, this has been sort of strange. Let's look at it. That was one play drive. The touchdown before that was a one-play drive. The touchdown before that was a kickoff return. So they haven't run many plays since that big drive in they opened up the second quarter. They've only really the kickoff, that wasn't really a play, so they've only run 2 plays, but now they have put up a 28-7 lead on this one early on. So, again, it goes back, Rick. First 3-4 minutes of that second quarter or third quarter, Greencastle now looks like they're dominating the ball game.
Yeah, and that's just, good for the kids, good for the coaches. Like I said, I don't care how long you've been coaching. Every year, that first win's the hardest one to get. Once, it's not over yet, but there's a lot of good feeling. The Camp Hill's now really just kind of falling apart here.
Yeah.
Fumbling the opening kick or the kickoff there. They were fortunate to get on it, but they really look like they've lost a lot of focus on that sideline.
Yeah, Camp Hill hit the ball. The ball went to the 26, and they recovered it at the 30, and that's where they'll come back out again here. 1st and 10 for the Camp Hill Lions. Greencastle leading this one 28-7. The clock at 10:01 here in the third quarter.
And my man Wesley Medina is going to have a seat. He's not playing defensive possession.
Let me give it a break here, Coach.
Yeah.
That was a long run.
That was a long run.
Great
run.
Yeah, I don't even run that far in practice.
That's exactly right.
No, give me a
Somebody
break.
blows the whistle by that
Yeah, by that time the play's over, or I'm just doing 10-yarders or whatever. Schuster at quarterback. He has 2 in the backfield now, and twins to the right side. They're going to toss back, but here comes that trick play. And no, Greencastle almost broke it up. Now Charlotte breaks out, and then a great tackle coming across from Tyler Tawane.
And that's a great play by Tawane because he had the quarterback wide open down here, but he just didn't have time to load and get it to him. So without that pressure, that would have been a big gain for Camp Hill.
Well, we mentioned Charlotte was over 2 last week, so that's what they like to do, and you saw that coming on the pitch back, but Greencastle, great pursuit. And they'll break huddle now. They'll send 2 twins to the far side and actually trips to the right with twins to the left. So the backfield is an empty set. Schuster all by himself in an apparent passing situation. And that's what he's going to do. Straight back, heavy rush by Tawane. He gets Tawane.
Grounding.
Yeah. Well, he got hit, so it's going to be hard to say. He got hit as he threw it. And so it was a great play by Tawane. 2 back-to-back great plays from him.
And, the momentum obviously is just now the landslide is the other way.
Right.
And, we're getting great penetration. I think you mentioned a couple times in the first half, it was just too much time for the quarterback. We're getting to him. We really look like we could blow this game wide open here in the next couple minutes.
Yeah, sure could. See what Camp Hill responds here on a 3rd down and 9. They'll put their 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. They'll put it back in the backfield now. Schuster
Can't say enough about the job Antoine Carter, number 17, has done on Trumpy.
Yeah, he has shut him down. Looking to pass again, straight across the middle. Oh, nice to pass.
Picked off.
Picked off by Carter. Carter to the 30, out to the 20, down to the 10, the 5, and knocked out of bounds at the 1-yard line.
Right on cue.
Hebert made the tap, and Carter made the interception.
Trying to force the ball to Trumpy. Hebert got his hand on it. Antoine Carter doing the tip drill. And I'm sure they still do that.
Oh, they do.
And, just turned it in, again, defense turning into offense.
Now the Blue Devils have a chance to score 3 touchdowns on 3 consecutive offensive plays. As the ball is set at the 2-yard line, deep in Camp Hill territory. Blue Devils moving left to right. McDowell up under center. He has Carter in the backfield. And they'll give it to Carter, and Carter is in for the touchdown. 1 play, 2 yards.
That was Ryan Marconi.
Marconi,
27.
27, my fault. Marconi with his first touchdown, and it is from 2 yards out. And now this one is looking at a possibility of a mercy rule game here early in the third quarter. Blue Devils suffered that fate last week against Chambersburg, as the Trojans were able, as we mentioned, build up a sizable lead. So now they're going to send Murr back in to try this again. And
this is something they're going to have to get ironed out.
Yes,
yeah,
they have to. Not much choice. They got to get these extra points. They need these to be automatic.
And not that you're going to get in a game where you need 3 points and you're down here. You've got to be comfortable, doing that. I think we jumped.
Snap is down, kick is up. This one is good.
No, we didn't. Okay,
nope,
good.
Didn't jump. And so the Blue Devils on the extra point.
It's all going right now.
Yeah, it is. Everything going your way. They lead this one by 35-7. They are 1 touchdown away from making this a mercy rule game here early on in the third quarter. And who would have thought it after the quarter number 1 that it was going to turn out to be this way? But
what a difference a week makes.
Well, that's true, too. That's true. And we want to tell you that when you want banking that's done your way, try F&M Trust. Not only does F&M Trust have secure mobile and online banking, they have 22 community offices, all right here in South Central Pennsylvania. So get banking done your way. Visit F&M Trust online today at member FDIC. Greg Hoover, Rick Lewis. It has been a Greencastle kind of night here since the second quarter started. And as we mentioned, 3 consecutive touchdowns on 3 consecutive plays by the Blue Devils, and they added a 4th on a kickoff return. So they really only touched the ball 4 times, and we're able to turn them into score. Last
it's all
4
about
possessions.
Efficiency.
Oh, that is.
I'm going to blame last week on Ed Gottwalls.
Well, that
I wasn't in my regular spot, Greg, and I think that just threw everything off.
Well, I know. This is Peter Chalep taking the kickoff, and he is brought down inside the 15. 58 unmarked on ours.
Unmarked on Vern's either.
Yeah, you can see now.
58 on the stop.
Well, I could have done that, Vern.
Yeah, Vern. You got people down there. You have spotters. You should be able to pick that one up. But so it is a 1st and 10 situation at the 13-yard line. And, boy, if Camp Hill ever needed to put something together offensively, it's right now. This could be a long season for the Lions based on this game. You lost 2, and you really thought this was a winnable game on your schedule.
But, for Greencastle, they're getting better, and I don't want to hear that it's Camp Hill and they're not. All wins are precious,
That's
Greg.
right. Oh, yeah.
It's hard to win games.
They're going to give the handoff to the up back, and he doesn't get back to, he gets to the line of scrimmage. So
Trenton Schaefer, number 24, with the tackle. So this is also great for Greencastle. They can work in some kids that maybe not so much not play, but you just never know. Might be second on the depth chart.
Right.
You could put them in with the starters, mix and match a little bit, because they're kids. Football's a game of attrition. You don't know week 7 who you're going to need.
Yeah, next man up, as they say.
Yep.
Got to be ready to play. Trumpy comes wide to the near side. Shartle in the slot to the left, but he's more out as a receiver. They do have a back in the backfield and 2 receivers to the right side. Schuster is at quarterback. That back, by the way, is the former quarterback, Levine. Straight back looking to pass, and straight up the middle, he has Shartle.
That's a nice catch.
Yes, it is. That is the big fullback Shartle, and he completes the pass up over the 50-yard line to the 49. Nice pass, nice catch, nice offensive play. And they needed something like that. Inside the Blue Devil territory.
Penn Live, all 3 sports writers predicted Camp Hill to win the game tonight. It was a pick'em game, and all 3 had Camp Hill. So, great job by Greencastle to right now. They just have to put the nail in the coffin.
But they do. They can't let this drive materialize. Same offensive set, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. And in the backfield this time is Max DeLay, the sophomore, 5'7", 165 pounds, standing to the left of the quarterback Schuster. Schuster, long snap. Now he looks over, brings in motion, and he doesn't like the play. Someone moved.
Dead ball foul, delay a game to call against Camp.
Delay a game. Boy, and then when it rains, it pours, doesn't it?
Yep, just a positive followed by a negative.
Yep, that marks him back 5 yards.
After the penalty is assessed, it's going to bring up a 1st and 15.
So 1st and 15 is where McCauley says. 7:15 remaining here, just the third quarter.
I am a little surprised, like you said, Greg. That's pretty sparse over on the Camp Hill side.
Yes. Yeah,
Camp Hill's a very proud sports program.
You're absolutely right. They have all their big tight end playing at Penn State.
Yep.
Schuster's in trouble. He can't get rid of it, and down he goes.
Ryan Marconi.
Marconi
played
in
a
on
real
the
nice game tonight.
He's got a touchdown, and he's got a sack, and that one takes him way back to the 36-yard line, and that makes it, 10 and 15, 25, I would be my guess. On a 2nd and 25 situation for the Lions. So let's see what, obviously, one would think a passing situation. Schuster is not alone in the backfield. He's joined by DeLay. DeLay normally the blocking back. 2 left, 2 right. Everybody else in tight. And looking to throw. Coming out and firing. And completes it to Trumpy. Trumpy can't go forward as Carter gets him right away. And it's actually a pickup to the 43-yard line, but it's still far away from a first down.
Good pressure there by number 53, Colin Horan.
3rd down, and now
3rd down and 18.
18.
The Lions. Football resting at their own 42-yard line.
Schuster will be by himself as they go with a no-back set. He'll have 2 to the left and 3 to the right.
We need one more defensive back down. Here he comes.
Yeah, he's coming over now. Schuster rolling to our left under heavy pressure. He can't get rid of it. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 43-yard line. He's going to pick up maybe a yard on the play, but it'll bring up
we got that
4th
pressure.
down.
I think we were a little fouled up back there in the back line.
Yeah, I think so too. They were lucky to come up with it. So a 4th down situation, they'll have to punt it away. For the Blue Devils, they will send Hildebrand deep. Last time he touched a kickoff or punt-like situation, he ran it back for 85 yards. Oh, bad snap over the head of Schuster. The ball is loose and on the ground, and we'll wait for the officials. Oh, coming up with it is Camp Hill. Got to give Grant Beasia credit on that one. Or are they going to say, well, it doesn't
really matter.
It doesn't matter, does it?
Camp Hill kids are arguing, but it really doesn't matter who's got the ball. It's Greencastle's ball.
Yeah, it's Greencastle. Yeah, they were complaining because they were pointing Greencastle way.
Right. It doesn't matter. What a turn of events that was. Camp Hill has the ball at the 40-yard line, and the wheels have just totally fallen off the bus for the Lions.
They have one great play, and then now Blue Devils are on inside their own territory at the 28-yard line. Medina back in there at the fullback position.
Worked last time.
Yeah, and they give it to him again. Straight up the left side he goes as he takes advantage of that left side of the Blue Devil line, which is manned by Aaron Lutz and Chase Remsberger, along with Bob McCune at center. He'll pick up about 4 yards on the play.
4 yards on the play. He's going to bring up a 2nd and 6.
Clock at 5:03 here in quarter number 3. 35-7, Blue Devils leading. Score here and the extra point would evoke the mercy rule, which means clock will only stop for timeouts, injuries, and touchdowns. Medina still in there. McDowell, a little confusion on the play, but man, I think he got a first down out of it.
It's good to be athletic.
Yeah, sure is. He went to hand it off, I believe, to Medina. Whether he put it in his stomach and pulled it out, whether it was an option play or not, I'm not really sure. David Brenman, a senior, 5'10", 175-pound senior for Camp Hill, is down, being tended to by the training staff.
Looks like a cramp.
Yeah, it does look like a cramp. I haven't seen many of those in the first 2 ball games this year.
You know, it's amazing. The kids and the training staffs and everyone's so much more educated now than they were when we played and before, and we're just so much smarter about those type of things. You know, you still hear the people saying, "Oh, it's not the same." It's good. It's not. I mean, it's
let's not give them water.
Right.
Let's not give them
you know,
water.
we've all had coaches like that growing up.
Right.
That and that was part of the norm. We do have someone cramping up here on the Greencastle's sideline as well. They're getting stretched out, but the kids do it, and it's not just at the game. They do a much better job thinking ahead as the day. You know, we said it to our kids all the time in basketball. Drink a lot of water all day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you can't just do it when you're playing. Make sure you're hydrated all day long. It's good to see everybody get on their own power there, but it was just a cramp.
Yep.
But they do hurt.
They do hurt, don't they? He'll come off. He'll have to set out a play before he can come back into play.
As play resumes, it's 1st and 10 Blue Devils football at the Camp Hill 17-yard line.
Tuani is at quarterback. Was he there the whole time?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
They just gave it to Medina coming barreling up the middle, still on his feet. That's right, because McDowell just got that extra point.
I'm just trying to look at the sidelines to see just to make sure Max is okay.
Hey, he wasn't the one with the cramp, was he?
No. Oh, you know what? Maybe he was. It was a 1. I couldn't see the other number. He's 11. Maybe it was Max that cramped up quickly.
Down to the 12-yard line on the Medina carry. They will send Root wide to the right side.
And I think you're going to get a big chunk of number 30,
yes.
Leslie Medina here the rest of this.
Now they give it to Murr on the jet sweep. Murr cuts inside, and again still on his feet down to the 5
nice
inside
run.
to the 3-yard line, and a great run. Knew he couldn't go around the outside, cut inside.
And he's done a much better job here in these last couple carries of cutting it up the field and kind of, instead of taking it so wide. So he's played a very good ball game.
I think this is a wise decision on the coaching staff at quarterback because, McDowell, who's your backup? And you got to have your backup ready here. And here's a perfect opportunity to do it. You may not have it too many more times.
That's exactly right. Get him some touches, get him, you don't have to throw the ball.
No.
You just keep plowing it through there. And
he has the keeper.
I think he's in.
Well, yes, he is.
Yep.
So Twane with the quarterback keeper.
I'll tell you what, if we haven't done anything, we might be the greatest sneak team in the world. Our sneaks have gone. I think we're averaging 5.5 yards a sneak.
That's our biggest carry on the sneaks. So the clock stopped at 3:17 on the touchdown. The extra point only critical because it will mean whether we go into the mercy rule or not. And Twane will stay in to do the holding. Yep. So it will be Murr again to kick the extra point, Twane to hold. This is interesting because normally it is McDowell. Snap is down, kick is up, and it is good. Nailed it. He did that time. And so with that one, it goes to 42-7. And up on top is the Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils by 35 points. And with that, the mercy rule will come into effect in short order here. Let's now, it's so difficult sometimes for us to break away that it's much easier for me just to read.
The people could see how difficult.
Oh my goodness gracious! Here somehow. It's an amazing thing. But we'd like to thank all our sponsors, both for Mid-Penn Broadcasting and for WRGG for making this broadcast possible. And by the way, we are WRGG LP Greencastle. When you want banking that's done your way, try F&M Trust. Not only does F&M Trust have secure mobile and online banking, they have 22 community offices, all right here in South Central PA. So get banking done your way. Visit fnmtrustonline.com today. Member FDIC. Good. 3:17 remaining. Greencastle to kick off after that touchdown. That was a 5 play, 28-yard drive. Kickoff up to the 26-yard line. Taken there by number 31, and he gets hit hard, but a really nice run back by Dave Williams. And the ball will in pretty good field position for Camp Hill.
Austin Tolbert on the tackle for the Blue Devils.
So,
and the clock is winding.
Yeah, the clock
is the most
still
important
keeps.
Thing now.
Remember, timeouts, injuries, and touchdowns. The only reason it will stop, so it will go by quickly.
And that's a great rule.
It is.
Really is, especially in this sport, but in any sport. At some point, the game is over.
It's over. Yeah.
And what you got to do is, go play another day.
All right.
And you get people hurt. That's when the game gets chippy, and it's just not a good scenario for everyone. I think I'm a big common sense guy, and I think that's one of the more common sense rules that have been put in the last couple of years.
Though if you were Dover last year, you might argue against that when they played Shippensburg. Schuster looking to throw, comes out. He has two receivers here, and he completes it to Michael Massey, the 6-foot senior, and that is good for a first down plus a few more yardage.
And you were right. There was two receivers there. I'm not sure who that was really intended for, but they had two guys kind of in the same spot. But
so last year in the opening game, Shippensburg at half led 35-0. They won 35-28, and a furious comeback on the part. And with Dover having the football with a chance to score to tie it up. Normally unheard of, and that usually doesn't happen. That is the exception, certainly not the norm. Schuster has completed his last 3 passes in a row following the interception, and the ball went into the hands of DeLay. But I tell you what, he is hammered down by number 72.
Rolandis Green
with a big hit for a loss of 3 yards on the play. The ball will spot at the 45 in Greencastle territory.
Well, back to, you look for the Blue Devils. They got another winnable game next weekend. The work to do, and then they get into league play. But, there's a lot of positives coming out of here. Now they're getting the kids. We talked about their inexperience. They're getting a lot of kids who don't have any experience, varsity playing time, which is very important, and it'll be very important down the road.
Schuster fakes, and then he can't get rid of it. Big rush in on the Blue Devils.
Trenton Schaefer.
And Schaefer brings him down for a 7-yard loss back inside Camp Hill territory at the 49-yard line. So they get a first down, then they go back 10.
Yeah, it's really going to be a challenging in the Capital Division for the Lions, I think, this year. Like I said, a very proud program. We're usually very good in all sports. So they'll bounce back.
Yep. Tim Bigelow in his second year.
As you and I talk about all the time, in public schools, it just goes in cycles sometimes.
Yeah, it does. Oh, there it was again. The quarterback was pointing, and it goes to the ground. He gets on it in time.
Yep.
Again, he's still looking and trying to get things going, and it snapped.
Yeah.
So now this one is down inside the 40, down to the 20, let me get this right, the 37-yard line. And that is the end of the third quarter. And we shall return on the F&M Trust Sports Network right after these messages. WRGG 93.7. Fourth quarter is a completed pass to Ben Mullins. It was sort of like a screen setup, and it was completed, and it will be, though, not enough for a first down. They went on fourth down, so the Blue Devils take over possession of it at their own 47-yard line. I would expect, Rick, just a lot of running for the Blue Devils.
Yeah. McDowell's out, Twana, and he looks fine.
Yeah, I think it's just the substitution. Yeah. That's all it is.
He is holding his arm, but I'm sure they're not going to, risk anything if he has any kind of twinge. But I would think you're right. I think this is going to be a lot of running and just running out the clock.
Yeah, that is Mayu, the sophomore. He gets about 2 yards on the carry. Yep, 10:53 remaining in this one. The mercy rule in effect, so it will be about 12 minutes before the game's over.
Yep, exactly.
Unless the Blue Devils would score. That's the only way to slow down or an injury, as we said. Timeout, injuries, or touchdowns. The only way the clock will stop. Even on incomplete pass, it will run. Blue Devils were on the opposite side of this last week, so it's good to be on this side if you're Greencastle. wide outs to both sides of the field and slots on both sides of the line, and one in the backfield for the quarterback.
You coach long enough, Greg, you are always on both sides of this.
That's right, yes. Somewhere along the line.
That's exactly right. And that's why it's important to play and coach, and Devin's doing that, and the kids are doing it. You do it with class both ways. You try, you know, because you will, just the sheer nature of sports, you will be at both ends of this.
20 with a handoff that time to Marconi. Marconi up to the 40-yard line. It is a 3rd down and 3 situation for the Blue Devils. 9:55, clock rolling around. Rhodes comes to our near side, and Barnes out to the far side. As we said, we don't expect much passing here in this situation. Jet sweep coming this way. Murr will get the call. Murr cuts upfield. He's over the 30, down to the 26-yard line, and he'll pick up the 1st down on that one. And that's just what the Blue Devils want. They want to keep the football.
Yep. Camp Hill, an interesting school district, Greg, for the listeners who don't. There's no buses.
No buses there.
It's all there's no cafeteria. The kids all go home for lunch, and they all walk to school. It's a very small community up there. I went to Cedar Cliff High School, which has a Camp Hill address, which surrounds Camp Hill, but it's just the borough of Camp Hill.
Yeah. Now, rumor had it they did add a bus this year.
Oh, really?
I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, that broke my whole story.
Yeah, it did. I'm sorry. But, yeah, everybody can walk, and it is just the borough. It's surrounded by, but no one else there. So it's and a small school to boot, as you said. 20 under center, going to hand off to Marconi. Marconi straight up the middle, and he stopped almost immediately as he gets to maybe the 24-yard line. And the Blue Devils after the 1st down. Now the clock at 8:43. And you'll start seeing them perhaps taking a look at the timing judge.
Yep, they'll run it down.
Wait for the hand to come up.
Well, Greg, since this game looks, and let me ask your opinion on one of the hot topics that's going on. You've been an administrator, a coach, been involved in athletics for a long time at the high school level. A lot of debate about the private public school. Where do you think it's going to go, and where do you think it should go?
Well, first of all, here's the handoff, and it is a nice little run that time.
Mayhew again.
By Mayhew. You know, I've always thought we walked into a playoff game, Greencastle did, to play Goretti Newman one year. And I looked at the roster, and they had 3 kids from New Jersey. And my mind had been made up long before that, but that cemented it, that I think they do need to divide to somewhere. It's not an even playing field, never has been. I do know, and on behalf of the PIAA, and I've said this time because I've been able to talk to Dr. Lombardi privately about this, and he said, I can't do anything. It's in the legislator's hand. They will not let me do anything about it, or they say they will make rules and take power away, as they did before a couple years ago. This is Marconi, the ball carrier, as they come through. So the PIAA can't. Now, is that a fumble? It is.
It is a
coming
fumble.
Up with it is Chartle. Chartle with the football, and he returns it up to the 48-yard line. Nice stop there by Carter to run him down at the end.
Chartle's played a nice game, number 44 for Camp Hill.
So Greencastle, after fumbling 3 times and not losing it, they lost it that time, and that brings the ball up to the 47-yard line.
Well, there were legislative hearings.
Yes. Well, a couple years ago, legislation, and it's been a decade ago, did not like something. They tried to separate. They did try to do something like that. So they created an oversight committee is what they called it. And the oversight committee did just that. They said, you can't do this, you can't do that. So, they have been told that if they do, there will be legislation to change it. So with that in mind, it's been tough for the PIAA to actually do something. I do think, and I thought originally, it's a timeout for the Blue Devils. I thought originally the idea, not that I think that the superintendents went about it the correct way, and I can say that because I'm not removed from it. Well, let's have not a secret meeting, but let's have a meeting.
It's almost a separate meeting.
Yeah, and succeed. I think that's all. I thought to myself, well, why can't you just say, okay, we're going to form our own organization? However, the state's always going to come back and say, we give you money. And if we give you money, you're going to do what we ask. Now, I don't think legislators should have anything to do with this thing, but there's some powerful legislators who have some powerful donors, I'm going to call it like it is, that come from private schools. And so when that happens, you got to be, and you got a lot of people that want charter schools to succeed, even though they haven't, they have in the athletic. They haven't academically, but they certainly have.
And that's probably the biggest. It's not just the religious schools anymore. It's expanded
even more. Probably that's what it's been. Some are just pure sports factories right now. Run up the middle of Camp Hill's drive there, helmet comes off on a 5-yard pickup. So there, yes, my opinion. I'm not shy about it. I think there should be. I don't know why they can't play.
Well, you have you have a very unique perspective to being involved in wearing a lot of different hats in that arena.
I think you bring your, like in football and basketball, you bring them up. One comes up the left bracket, one comes up the right bracket. You declare a public school champion and a private school champion, and then you play a playoff at the end.
Philadelphia did for years.
Yeah. And you think of the gate that would bring in, both of them. So we'll see what happens. Chardo again. Oh, man. Both Chardo and who's getting up there slowly. He got run over.
Sure did.
Yeah. That might be.
I hate to say a name when I don't know when they're hurt. I think it's Jared Miller.
I think so, too.
Number 22. But I hate to speculate when the kid's down. He got trucked.
He did. Chardo just ran over him, yeah. And he tried to get up, but he really couldn't. And that both of them coming sort of full speed ahead, and they hit hard.
You hate to see that.
Blue Devils lead 42-7. 42-7 with 5:34 to go in the ball game here on the second week of the high school football season. And, it goes back. The other thing
Not even Labor Day.
Not even Labor Day yet, and we got 2 games in. Though I do think, I'm not sure about, I don't know about the early start, what you want to talk about that, but I do think the 6 divisions is a fair situation for Greencastle and schools like us because in basketball, 3 years ago we're playing Reading, and there's just, and I understand it. There's no really, you got to make a line somewhere in the sand. Okay, here's how many we have up in Quad A, and this is how many we have in Triple A, and we were on the bottom of the Quad A, and now we're in a better situation for it. Not everybody would agree with me on that one, but I think for Greencastle, a better situation. Schuster at quarterback still. He'll have 2 receivers left and right here. He'll look and fire quickly and completes the pass down to the 40-yard line. And a nice comeback catch there for Elijah DeArmond. And it'll be a first down for Camp Hill.
I guess, I don't know what – you can debate all that stuff. I don't know the side. I think for us it is a positive.
Yeah.
Football, you could I think basketball you could get away with 5 school. There's definitely a super division that's, whether you want to call it the biggest schools, or there is definitely a difference between the biggest level of schools and everybody else.
Right, there is. Always will be, regardless of what you have.
Yeah, exactly.
Bounce pass incomplete.
I think my perspective as a coach, it's still public schools. It's still, for the most part, even though you have a bigger pool of kids to pull from, it flows. I would be more of an advocate for the private-public situation than anything else. Now, I guess, regular season you want to play, that's fine.
Right, but you play who you want to play regular season, but when it comes to playoffs.
But, it's there's no easy answer. The power rankings, is that the best system to do playoffs and things like that? There's definitely no easy answers with it.
That little comeback pass they've used successfully before, they do it again to Michael Massey. Massey
rolling down.
Yep. And
3:30 left in the ball game.
And this one clicking away. That will be
congratulations to Coach McCulley, the first win in Devin McCulley era.
After 30 years of Chuck Taninis at the helm.
And we'd be remiss not to say, what an amazing job for 30 years. Really do anything. And
oh, my goodness gracious, for 30 years, and be a high school head football coach, that's almost unheard of.
Because you are riding the highs and lows, and not every season's a championship season, and that's an outstanding job.
Schuster throwing deep and, in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Peter Chandler. Actually, it looked like it got –
Skylar Testerman, number 20, might have got just his fingertips on it. He's only 5. He's listed at where's he at
down
there?
for Camp
He's
Hill.
only listed at 5'9". Well, he's listed at 5'9". I know Skylar. That's pushing it.
That's stretching it up there, isn't it?
But he used every inch he had to get his fingertips on that.
Fourth down facing Camp Hill, which will be probably their last offensive possession of the ball game. And they'll send a whole bunch of people out here to the right side. It does look like they have 4 receivers on the right side. Everybody in
Everybody
tight.
but the coaches out there.
Yeah. And Schuster,
Well-
the own setback. Oh, there they go. They're going to have to call a timeout because they had too many. When you got 4 receivers on one side and 2 on the other, most likely you have too many people on the field.
The coach at Camp Hill, you could hear him from all the way across the field and up. That's just a frustration, kind of how it's going for the Lions
Yeah.
tonight. You know, they started off pretty well, and but the Blue Devils had a lot to do with it. They made plays. They made big plays. They got some. You know, you and I have done a lot of almost every home game in the last 3 years or 4 years, even whatever it's been. And you know, we haven't had the interceptions. We haven't had that. And they'll kick off the returns and things like that. There's a lot of ways to generate offense besides just playing offense, so that's good to see.
Yes, it is. And again, obviously that turned the game around, all those things. You know, Greencastle scored 3 consecutive times without running a play or one play. That's all it was. Big plays abound, and that's what they needed. So they're going to go for it here, no doubt. 2:23 to go on a 4th down and 11 situation. Schuster, the lone set in the backfield. 5 receivers, they're all coming out. Schuster now under a heavy rush, and he goes down. What a great play. What a great play by 50. Yep.
Blaine Ocker.
Yep, Ocker with a big, huge play. And
He's been pretty active tonight.
yes, and again, give the secondary credit. He didn't have anybody to throw it to. It's like a containment sack there. And so Blue Devils will take over possession at the 45.
From the 45-yard line, let's hear it for the Gampa varsity cheerleaders.
So this we'll see how they go. They're running, I think they're running Jared Miller through the concussion testing down there.
Well, yep, they're gonna check him all out, and you know, great sportsmanship. The camp, that's I believe the doctor for Camp Hill that came over.
That's ours.
Oh, that's ours.
That's
I'm
our
sorry,
team
it was
doctor.
Sam?
Yeah, that's our team
Oh,
doctor.
okay.
He was on the other side treating
Oh,
another.
okay, there you go.
I saw that. I know what you thought. Yeah, yeah. Now they're just waiting here. Wani under center. He's looking to. There goes the hand up, so they'll snap the ball, and they will give it to the fullback in this alignment.
Jacob Hurley,
Okay.
5'9", 165-pound junior.
Clock at 1 minute. They'll have to run one more play on this one, and then we'll wrap this one up. Blue Devils going to secure.
Great job by the Blue Devils.
Yes,
tonight.
it has been. What started out slowly really ended in a quick fashion, and all Greencastle Antrim in that after the Camp Hill touchdown to take a slim 7-6 lead, and the Blue Devils, well, they rattle off 35 points.
Coach
36
McCauley
points.
hugging his staff. No greater feeling to get that first one.
Last play of the ball game here for the Blue Devils and Camp Hill. And they're going to take a knee. The victory formation is there, and it is a victory for the Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils.
Somebody get that ball for Coach McCauley.
Yeah, that's right. Get it for him. That's the first win. The Blue Devils go 1-1 now, and we'll be back to wrap this up on the Antrim Insurance postgame show on the F&M Trust Sports Network on midpennbroadcasting.com, the sportspage.blog, and on WRGG at 93.7 and on the web at WRGG.org. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Kickoff set for 7 o'clock.
Welcome back to Greencastle. It is a Blue Devil victory, 42-7, the final score. Rick, I don't know what you say. They just they played a great ball game.
They sure did. What a difference a week makes.
Yeah.
One week you're on the side of the mercy rule going one direction. This week you're on the other side of it. Congratulations to Coach McCulley for his first career varsity win, and most importantly to the kids. They've got to feel good. You put in a lot of time. You put in a lot of work. Mike Montadoro and I talk about this all the time. Every win is precious.
That's
it doesn't
right.
matter who it's against or how you get it. They're very hard to get, and the kids did a great job tonight.
Yeah, great game. Blue Devils turned it on out in the second quarter, never looked back. It was a defensive struggle for one quarter, and then suddenly the floodgates opened, and Blue Devils put big play after big play together and coming away with the 42-7 win. We're going to take a short break, come back and wrap this up. This is the F&M Trust Sports Network on MidPennBroadcasting.com, and we should tell you that you're listening to the Antrim Insurance postgame show, your local area insurance agent serving Greencastle, Waynesboro, Chambersburg, Mercersburg, and surrounding Pennsylvania and Maryland areas. Antrim Insurance, 169 South Washington Street in Greencastle. We'll be right back on the F&M Trust Sports Network. Well, that's going to do it for us here as the Blue Devils are just celebrating their very first win here tonight. And for the Blue Devils, for everybody, we're quite happy that that came away the way it did. Camp Hill, they'll get a chance to regroup. But for next week, the Blue Devils, you'll relish in this one and get back to work, right?
That's it. Take 24-hour rule, right?
That's right.
Enjoy it for 24 hours and then start figuring out what's next.
And hit back to it. So, post-game show has been brought to you by Antrim Insurance, your local area insurance agent serving Greencastle, Waynesboro, Chambersburg, Mercersburg, and surrounding Pennsylvania and Maryland areas. Antrim Insurance, 169 South Answer Way, Greencastle, 1685 East Main Street in Waynesboro. Again, our final score, 42-7. The Greencastle Antrim Blue Devils win it. Our next ball game will be next week. The Blue Devils travel to Hanover to take on the Nighthawks, and that game will be right here on WRGG 93.7 and also on Mid-Penn Broadcasting. It gets started at 7 o'clock, pregame show at 6:30. The broadcast has been a production of MidPennBroadcasting.com in conjunction with WRGG 93.7 and the F&M Sports Network, along with the sportspage.blog. Our camera operator has been Ruth Ann Felix. For Rick Lewis and the entire Mid-Penn Broadcasting team, this is Greg Hoover. Have a good evening, everyone.